What's going on, guys? Chuck back with another awesome Blu-ray purchase, and this is not a new release by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something new to me. Um, as you may or may not know, just recently, a few weeks back, released in theaters was Baz Luhrmann's Elvis film. It's been getting pretty good reviews. Done really well at the box office. I have seen it, and I think I've mentioned before, I'm not a, I won't say I'm like a diehard, whatever, but I'm a big Elvis fan. I couldn't tell you every single detail about Elvis, or all his songs, but, I do, I'm very interested in, I can hit the high spots. But I saw the film. I enjoyed it. I have more, I'll have more to say on that later on, because I do want to see the film again. But I'll probably wait to speak on that until I get the actual Blu-ray disc, which I pre-ordered. And like that, I went back and was looking at a few things Elvis related that I haven't had. Now, I do have all of his actual theatrical films. Have I seen them all? No. That's something I'm working my way through. But there were like two documentaries that I did not have, which I rectified that. Now, only one of them has arrived. One is still taking a while to ship. But the one I did get was Elvis, That's the Way It Is. Now, this is from 1970, I believe. Concert documentary, basically showcasing him, during his a show at the Las Vegas Hilton, where he was in residence for, I think it was 5 years, doing a lot of shows there. And this is a 2001 special edition and the original 1970 theatrical version of the film. And that's important because these are two different cuts. I mean, almost two totally different films, which is kind of surprising. And I had not seen this one at all. I've seen bits and pieces because, That's the Way It Is one it would show up a lot on television. I mean, you get parts of it, especially the concert footage. That's the main thing you always see is concert footage. Especially stuff like Suspicious Minds or Sweet Caroline or other scenes. But I had never actually sat down and watched it until just the other day. And I started off with the, I believe it was 2001. Make sure I get this right. Yes, 2001 special edition. And this was done by Turner Classic Movies, actually, if I remember this right, from what I heard. That somehow they had got a hold of it and decided to do a total re-edit and recut and remaster of this film, and that's available on the Blu-ray. The DVD of this is the 1970 theatrical version. So I started with the special edition version, and I mean, it's got this. It sounded good. It looked great. It's a nice, basically lead up. Elvis working on rehearsing, which is a nice behind the scenes thing to see with Elvis and his band, and just working on the songs and in the studio and kind of like having laughs and just, I don't know, it was very nice to see that kind of playfulness, and then that working its way into the show, which the latter half of this film is a concert, which I think it said it's taken over 3 nights. This is during his second year of his residency, and it's the show. The show is filmed or taking extras from those 3 different concerts and put into one. And it's a great show. I mean, Elvis at this point, he looks in his prime. He looks great, in great shape. The music is great. He sounds wonderful, and it was just a really enjoyable experience. A lot of fun. Excuse me. So after I watched that, immediately after, I watched the theatrical version. I said, well, how much different could it be? Wow. But I didn't realize the theatrical version is like a totally different film. When I say that Turner Classic Movies trimmed the fat, I'm not kidding. They really cut out a lot, and all the changes they made were for the better. Because what is in a theatrical version is a lot of talking head stuff, a lot of interviews with fans, just random fans, people, their thoughts on Elvis, and what is a fan, and a couple getting married at at Vegas to celebrate. They're going to see Elvis, so they're getting married in Vegas. You're talking to like I think the president or general manager of the Hilton, just other random interviews and just man on the street kind of things, which really, I mean, they're interesting. They kind of do detract from the purpose of the film, which is Elvis in concert. I mean, you still have the rehearsal footage, and there's actually some stuff that's it's different from the special edition. You've got a couple extra scenes or extended versions of the rehearsal, as well as the concert footage. There's like some songs that are in the theatrical version that were taken out of the special edition. I think like Sweet Caroline, I believe, is in the theatrical version, but it's not in the special edition. At least not in the. I mean, during rehearsal they may have some scenes of it, but not in the concert. But there's a lot of stuff like that. It's a crazy change, but it works. Taking out the talking heads, while interesting, and it's a nice time capsule, it does date the film. I mean, it's clearly 1970s. Where you take a 2001 special edition, it takes all that stuff out, and it's all about Elvis and his band and preparing and performing, and it feels timeless. It really does, and it helps the pace of the film. But when you're working in the theatrical version, you're with Elvis, and you're having these moments with the band, you're rehearsing, and a lot of hard moments, and then it just cuts away to talking heads. And it really disrupts the pace of the film, in my opinion. Same thing, you may have a couple concert scenes where it just kind of stops and jumps over to someone talking about their Elvis collection or whatever. And just, it kind of really disrupts that whole flow that the special edition captures very well by just focusing on Elvis, the band, the rehearsal, warming up, pre-show or pre-game, if you will, getting ready, and then going out and putting on a kick-ass show. And that's it. And that's the way it was. Rightfully so. So, yeah, it was really, mind-blowing to see that much of a change between two versions of a film. Usually, a special edition, they cleaned it up and they added one more scene. It's whatever. I think the special edition may be a little bit shorter than the theatrical version, but and that's not a bad thing. It flows better. Not that the theatrical version really drags, but it is bumpy because of those cuts, the talking heads, which I feel really slowed the film down. I mean, it's interesting as a time capsule perspective, but for what the documentary really, I think, should have focused on, and what the 2001 special edition focuses on, they weren't needed. So, again, this is the Warner Archive, which is kind of cool. Nice. Here's the back of that. And so you've got special features. You've got the stop, rewind, play back. The 2001 special edition restoration featurette called "Patch It Up." The restoration of Elvis. That's the way it is. Let's see. You have 12 song and non-musical outtakes of the films, the trailer, and of course, disc 2, which is the DVD, is the theatrical version, like I said, and it's basically in mono or maybe stereo. It doesn't have the surround mix like the 2001 does, which really helps the concert scenes too. And the special features, there are special features on the DVD, and it's basically the same thing to delete, except for the only thing that's different is it doesn't have the restoration feature. It's just the deleted scenes, all that, because most of the scenes were still deleted either way from both versions, stuff that wasn't used. But it's definitely, if you're an Elvis fan, you've never seen this, check it out. I can't imagine too many Elvis fans who haven't seen this, except for myself. It took forever to do so. And if you've only seen the theatrical version, I recommend getting this and checking out the special edition, because it is, I think you'll find it as a lot more fluid experience, for lack of a better term. It definitely more concert heavy and really get that nice good flow. Take a look at the inside. Not a whole lot in here, just basically your 2 discs. If I can get them. Just your Blu-ray of the special edition and the DVD of the theatrical version. And I think I got us to Amazon. It's easily available for, I want to say, under $20. So if you don't have this, I highly recommend you get it and check it out. The other documentary concert, Elvis documentary, was Elvis on Tour, which I think came out after this one, kind of focusing on his one of his later tours before his death. I'm still waiting to get that one. That's not one that gets talked about a lot too much. Whenever you talk about Elvis documentary concert films, it's always that's the way it is. And this one was a little on Elvis on Tour is a little hard to come by. I didn't see a Blu-ray, at least not in North America. There was like I think Chinese Blu-ray, but there is a North American DVD. I sprung for the DVD. It's okay. But so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. And again, I'm really excited to see the Baz Luhrmann film again. I have a lot of thoughts on it. It made me feel a lot of things when I saw it. If anyone's questioning seeing Elvis, then the film, that is, don't go see it. And don't wait to see it on streaming, please. I know it's expensive. Me and a friend of mine, we went and saw it, and we saw it in the big fancy Dolby Cinema, and it cost a lot. It was way more expensive than I probably would have wanted to pay, and I do love going to the theater, but that was like, whew. On the other hand, it was fantastic seeing it in that theater. It was so immersed. The movie is vibrant. There's a lot going on. It is a Baz Luhrmann film. It was worth the money. People say, it's probably not worth it. But to me, it was worth it to see it. I wanted to see this film in a theater, immersed in that whole atmosphere. And I'm glad I did. Now, the next time I see it in a theater is, I'm hoping me at the drive-in, where I get in free, because I have a free pass. Because I do want to take my mom to go see it. I think she'd probably enjoy it better in the drive-in. And it'd be cheaper too. But it's a lot of fun. But anyways, again, if you get the chance to see, you don't have to see the fancy, go see in the regular theater where it's a little bit cheaper. It'll be the fancy Dolby Cinema. But regardless, if you can't see this in that theater with the sound and the big screen, it's got to be seen on the big screen. Do not wait to see it on streaming, because you're doing yourself a disservice to do that. It's really this is a film that's made for a theater. It's bigger than life, just like Elvis was. So, all right, enough about that. So, again, Elvis, that's the way it is. Check it out if you haven't. And like I said, I do have all of his theatrical films, and I do need to watch them all. I know at a point they're almost all the same plot, but I think maybe I'll make it a point to go through them one by one and maybe just get some thoughts about it. I don't know. It's an idea. We'll see what happens. So, with that being said, you know what to do. If you like this, click the thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought of the Elvis movie, if you've seen it. If you've seen That's the Way It Is, your thoughts on it, whether it be theatrical or the special edition, whatever. If you're an Elvis fan, you're anything. Or, as always, just say hi. I'll always take hi. So, until next time, this is Chuck, taking care of business. I'll see you on the other side.